Morning, good afternoon, good evening, fabulous. This is Angela with another edition of Not News. It's just my notes on the news, and it may be based on just reading a headline, or I may be an expert on the subject. But like I said, it's not news, it's just my opinion on the news. Thanks for clicking on the video and sticking around. I'm Angela, and the channel is Be Fabulous You. Let us proceed. It is windy outside. Dark-skinned strippers go on strike in New York City. So, Lovely T is where I first heard the story. I didn't think it was going to come across my news feed, but it did. And that was on the Griot. So that's like not mainstream news, but the Griot is a pretty mainstream blog. I was surprised to see it come across my news feed. I thought that Lovely T's story was interesting. And it, you know, SSDD. So it's sort of like, in the real world, dark-skinned women are not on the bottom of anybody's hierarchy. But in the appearance of this world here, dark-skinned women are on the bottom of the hierarchy. So, of course, when it's big money people, they Xing dark-skinned women out. When, you know, a lot of times when we see, you know, on the TV, it's not a lot of representations of dark-skinned women. A lot of the representations of dark-skinned women are negative. And, you know, a lot of people have a lot of hostility and anger toward dark-skinned women. I have definitely had experiences, and I guess now I'm conflating this story with some of the stuff that I've heard on Chrissy's channel. But I have definitely personally had experiences where I felt, and I can't speak for other people, but I kind of felt like some people kind of felt like I don't deserve or have the right to be happy and joy-filled and as fabulous as I am because I'm not light-skinned or what they would consider cute or what they would consider deserving of happiness. Like, you know, like, so I've had all kinds of interactions with people, you know, where I feel like that's an issue. And I feel like just like with dealing with white people, I feel like I am not going to shrink myself or minimize myself to deal with you. So if you can't deal with me and my fullness and fabulousness, then oh well, like, you know, that's sound like personal problems for me. So, you know, I have relationships with people who can relate to me as a people. I'm a person. So, you know, yeah, I don't know. You know, I guess if you feel that you have to strip for a living or, you know, if that's your livelihood, it's very disturbing, the idea that an unfair and jacked up and welcome to America, the idea that, you know, there's a big money person in the house and you don't even have the opportunity to try to sell your services to that person. You know, so, and you're not considered, you know, worthy of, you know, even being in the mix. They like, bring your 10 top women, your 10 most beautiful women, your 10 best dancers, and no dark-skinned people ever make the cut. I mean, that's a bull. But anyway, so they going on strike. I haven't heard anything in the past couple of days. This is old news. This is an in case you missed it edition. This is old news. Former President Obama to serve jury duty in November. I've never served jury duty before. That's deep. Are they going to have like a whole bunch of extra security? I mean, how are he going to interact with the other, the regular people who are on the trial? Is it like a trial of celebrity people who serve jury? How does that work? I mean, I'm just curious. 1/3 of all New York schools have no Latino or Black teachers. 1/3, 33%. So I don't know what the demographics are in New York. I know that when I lived in New York, there seemed to be a lot of colored people there, but I have no idea what the demographics are because I come from Detroit and I grew up with Detroit being 80, 85, 90% Black. So, you know, every place else just never, no place is blackety black like Detroit. So my perspective is skewed on stuff. So I don't know. Is that like in proportion? You know, I don't know. The Spurs are dominating with their most underwhelming roster yet. And it can be traced back to a simple philosophy. And that philosophy is fundamentals, which I was like really interested to hear that. They're like, they get these groups of people together to play on their team. And every year people are like, oh, your team ain't nothing. They don't have no stars. They ain't got no star power. But the person recruits specifically for people who have strong fundamentals, for people who can pass the ball, for people who can dribble. I don't know what the fundamentals of basketball are. For people who can run, that's all I know. You run, you pass the ball, you dribble. For people who can shoot and have the proper technique for those things. And time after time after time, I don't know if it's been 2 years or 5 years or 20 years, but these teams excel. And so I like that because it gives you hope. Like I learned like early on in my life that even though I was like a relatively smart girl, when I was a girl, I wasn't very hard working. Don't tell anybody. I wasn't very hardworking, but I remember some of my classmates were very hardworking, and they weren't, in my opinion, as naturally smart as me. They had to work harder to get good grades, but they did work harder and they got good grades, and a lot of them had better grades than me. And I always, even though I haven't been in touch with them, I always, like, as I progressed in life, I really came to value and appreciate and admire that whatever you have, you work hard with what you have, get what you are given, with the gifts that you have, and that is the key. Not just being, naturally whatever, like, that hard work is important. So I like that story. Astros first baseman Yuli Gurriel accused of making a racist gesture after World Series home runoff Yu Darvish. So he did this, which, and the person was Asian. So, and it was like in the dugout or something. I don't know what happened on the on the field, the sports playing field. And then he made that statement. And I was just like, ew, that's really like, ooh, who does that? That's tacky. That's assholish. That's ignorant. That's, ew, who does that? But I thought it was wrong. But today I was watching The Talk. Was it The Talk? And I think Julie Chen, she was saying how it was like she felt like she was gut punched, like she was punched in her gut. And it took her back to when she was a child, and they were the only Asian family in their community. And there was one person who would always harass her and her family, among other people, but one person in particular. And, she would just put her head down and keep walking. And yeah, I guess it's sort of like, I don't know why people, like, why be insensitive, and why make fun of someone? Why harass someone? Why mock someone? Why? We got to do better. So I hope that, I think it's a Latino guy who did that. And, people, no matter who we are, we all have opportunities to grow and do better. Somebody left their phone here because I'm here alone, I think. I'm here alone. Okay, Lynn C. Yusan, activist, journalist, and University of Houston's first Black homecoming queen. Researchers found the right amount of time before getting married, and it's not as long as you'd think. I thought, in my head, it's always a couple of years, more or less, especially, like at my age, I don't think it take a couple of years. I'm 45. I don't think it take a couple of years, to know if this is serious, if we gonna get married or not. But I think the thing was saying like 4 or 5 years is the optimum time. I'm like, what? I don't know where I would be in the future, but it's like, I can't imagine myself. I could imagine myself just kicking it with somebody if I was in the mindset of like, hey, I'm just kicking it and having fun, and I would never marry you. I could see myself kicking it with somebody for 4 or 5 years. But if I'm thinking, oh, I want to get married again, and I'm open, I'm out here, I don't know if I'm like looking for a husband, I'm hunting for a husband, but if I'm out here, planning to get married, it's like I'm not just dating to date, because there's people that I've dated who are cool, but I wouldn't have married them. And at the time that I was dating them, I was basically looking to get married. So I don't want to say I didn't have a lot of time to waste, but I guess once it became clear to me that this isn't really going anywhere, I was kind of like, murp, murp. So I'm like 4 or 5 years. I don't know if I had a personality. If I'm trying to get married, if I'm thinking I want to get married again, to be 4 or 5 years, good Lord. But yeah, I think that's what I skimmed the article. I don't remember. Oh no. So hold on. I'm going to pause because I came out of I'll be right back. And India surpasses US to become the second largest smartphone market. Okay. Who's the first largest? Maybe China? I don't know. Uber hired Pepsi's top lawyer to take on its many troubles as the new chief legal officer. He a black guy, I think. Pepsi? Ooh. The CW buys dramedy about Indian American woman from Devanshi Patel. I think Devanshi Patel is the person who was selling the dramedy. Ooh, more reflection of how the world is. Yes, we like to learn more about who out in the world and what they is doing. Ghana investigation after child rape pardon. So I don't remember the story, but I guess some child was raped and then somebody was pardoned. I guess the person who was accused of doing it. So now there's an investigation, as well there should be. American Airlines CEO sees opportunity in NAACP criticism. Well, I hope it's a good opportunity because everybody in every organization can learn if they're inclined. But I think I might be sort of jaded because I'm like, but are they really gonna learn? Or are they gonna keep doing the same old? Their corporate culture is probably ingrained. They would have to do, but it's just like people. I do believe this about people sincerely. Any person can change. Most of us don't change, but any person can change. And that's the beauty of people. You never know when someone is going to change or what's going to cause someone to change. What's going to be like a pivotal moment in someone's life. You never know. And that's like, the fact that we all can change is really beautiful to me. So maybe, organizations are like that too because they're led by people. So maybe the organization will really change, Kerry Washington producing Man of the House, ABC family comedy from Baby Daddy, Co-Ep, and Jackal Group. Maybe Co-Ep is co-executive producer, and the Jackal Group, maybe that's a group that produces shows, puts stuff together. Yes, Kerry Washington producing. YouTube creators are less likely to lose ad money. I kind of skimmed it, but I couldn't quite understand it. Maybe when I skimmed it, it was during the time when I was like sickly and running around and it'd be a lot going on. So maybe my brain was not at 100 and that's why I could not process it. 100-mile-per-hour joyrider's age shocks U.S. police. Y'all know this baby was 10 years old and the baby was like, I was just bored. And it's not the first time that the baby has done it. And I'm thinking that it's a white child because did y'all hear that the baby spit at the cops? See, I am jaded because what I want to say is that if it was a black child, if it was a black baby, they wouldn't even they'd have probably just shot them through the... Lord, help me. Help me, God. Help me to be more hopeful about humanity and to be... a better person, I guess. But don't let me be ignorant. Don't let me be willfully ignorant. HIV positive Italian Valentino Toluto jailed for infecting 30 women. HIV positive. He's Italian. His name is Valentino Toluto. I don't know if he's famous, but he was jailed for infecting 30 women with HIV. Who does that and why? Judge returns from Cancun birthday trip to discover she's on known terrorist list. It's a black woman. She coming from Cancun, her birthday. She go through, where you show your passport and they ask you where you traveling from, what's the customs. And she found out she on a known terrorist list. I wonder if she's what they're calling black extremist terrorist, whatever. Maybe she's one of those people who has publicly said that she believes that black people are human beings. Oh my gosh! Don't say that. Black Lives Matter? No, you must be a black terrorist. Is she one of us who think that black people are human beings? Is that her crime? Or was it just a simple error? See, I'm jaded. I didn't even read the article. Oh, Angela, help us. Pearl C. Bowden Anderson, African-American civic leader and renowned philanthropist. Has Don Lemon gone from sunken to saved? I'm not really a Don Lemon fan, but maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Catalonia violence. The Catalonia stuff is still brewing. This is old stuff. Charles T. Fisher mansion to undergo 3-year renovation. That's in the hood, y'all. So it's going. I wonder what it's like in the inside. 3-year renovation. Are they just like updating? Like, we need fresher bathrooms. We need fresher kitchens. Because, you know, this stuff around here is like 100 years old. We need to bring it up. Are they going to turn some rooms into small rooms and big rooms? And, you know, Hill Harper owns the property now. And I have a connection with someone who's supposed to be his manager or something like that, and he like, well, when we come to Detroit, we just stay there, so maybe they're gonna make it into separate apartments so the people can have private. I don't know what the plan is. I'm gonna call you, Snoop. I'm just joking. I'm not gonna call you because I guess I don't care, and it's none of my, you know, I'm just in the neighborhood. I have a connection. Detroit named one of the top cities to visit in the world by Lonely Planet. Hey, when I used to travel, I liked the Lonely Planet guides because they always seem to have like stuff that was like off the beaten track. That might even be like their tagline or something. So yay, come visit Detroit. And when you come visit Detroit, I do tours of the city. Hit me up. We can do a tour of the city. I do private tours. I do public tours because, you know, I got a million hustles. Check out the coolest and craziest cars from the 2017 Tokyo Motor Show. We got a big car show in Detroit. January. Come to the International Auto Show in Detroit in January. Jane Fonda says sexual harassment has been going on a long time to black women. And she went on to say that the reason this whole Harvey Weinstein thing is blowing up is because some white women came forward. But I don't know if that's true. I saw something today or yesterday that said that Jupiter was transiting Scorpio or something like that. And I'm like, ooh, the sex thing is getting big. That's my baby astrological analysis of it. But I'm like, oh, you know, it seemed like it's something in the air because white women have come forward. White women came forward and complained about Trump and it didn't blow up. But now it's like blow up after blow up after blow up after. As a matter of fact, today I saw an article or something about how Charlie Chaplin liked to have sex with young girls. His first wife was 16 years old when he impregnated her, according to the story I read. And in order to avoid going to jail, he married her. And then as soon as she was old enough to divorce him, 18, 19, whatever, she divorced him because she didn't want to be married to her rapist. And then he started scoping out some girl at 6 or 9. By the time she was 16, she was pregnant by him as well, and he married her. And he told one of his friends, according to the story that I read, my recollection of it, that being married is better than being in jail. Charlie Chaplin, you know, when I was a student, I remember this one instructor was like, oh, Charlie Chaplin, his movies are the best, he's the greatest, he's brilliant. You see how people are? We're just really flawed. You know, it's like we can have some good things and some bad things. And I only say that to say that I love me some Nina Simone. I mean, like her music, I was just like, I became a real intense lover of Nina Simone's music. I love the way her voice sounds. I love her lyrics. I love the emotion that comes through in her songs. Like, I am like a lover of Nina Simone. And I was in St. Lucia, maybe. I think I was in St. Lucia and I stayed at someone's house. The person was not there, but all of their music and books were there. So we got to enjoy their music, and I ended up reading a book, which was a biography of Nina Simone. And that biography of Nina Simone freaked me out because I'm like, oh my God, she's kind of cuckoo crazy. And I've been listening to her music. What have I been absorbing? Like, for example, before I used to love listening to some Sade. And I was dating at the time. And I'm like, I got to stop listening to Sade because I'd be waking up in the middle of the night or first thing in the morning. This song been going through my head all night. You give me the sweetest taboo. Never as good. It's like a lot of I think all of her songs that I liked were kind of sad. And I was kind of like, how am I going to, it's like heartbreak songs, and I'm not like really a heartbreak kind of girl. I guess I'm not, I haven't been so far in life, I mean, I'm not a heartbreak kind of girl. I mean, maybe tomorrow I will be, but so far I'm not a heartbreak kind of girl. So I was kind of like, I don't want to start programming myself into that. And then I was kind of like freaked out with Nina Simone. Like, I'm listening to this. Am I going to start getting programmed into, her cuckoo craziness? Because she seemed to have some real self-esteem issues, and my mother, who was a big fan of hers, had met her, and my mother was like, she was really not very nice, even though we love Nina Simone. And so I didn't listen to Nina Simone for like a year, maybe 2 years, but I love Nina Simone, so I started listening to her again. So, artists are complicated. And does the art transcend the artist? Like, does God come through us, and God is perfect and beautiful and bigger? That part of us is the God part of us that creates, and that, and so, people are flawed, but we can still do beautiful work and have a beautiful impact on the world. So that's all I was going to say. The U.S. government planned to drop leaflets in Cuba encouraging people to kill Fidel Castro for just 2 cents. I didn't read the article, but I'm like, they were like, if you kill Fidel Castro, I'll give you 2 cents. Was that the plan? I guess that was a long time ago when 2 cents was a lot. I don't understand. I probably need to read that article. Headscarf row. German university lecturer humiliates Muslim. He asked a woman to take off her headscarf or told her to in class. Who does that? South Korea professor mentally stressed comfort women. So I'm going to end on this, but I'm really, really upset with this term comfort women. I'm tired of doggone euphemisms for stuff. So these were women who were made sex slaves. They euphemistically called them comfort women. And then this man or whatever said here recently that some of the women liked doing what they were doing. And it's sort of like, sometimes you're in a situation where it's like, well, you could die or you could do this. What do you want to do? And you'd be like, well, I'm going to do this, even though I really don't want to do it, but it's better than dying. I'm going to do it until I can do something better. But that doesn't mean that you liked it. That junk just gets on my, I can't stand that. But that's a whole nother conversation. So with that, I'm at 22 minutes and 25 seconds. Thank you so much for watching, commenting, subscribing. We're working on 200 subscribers. Please share this video widely with everybody that you love and that loves you, and everybody that you think is fabulous. Today is the best day ever. You are the greatest. You're number one. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Whoop. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Whoop. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you.